Hey guys, what's up? So we 2 videos ago, 2 lessons ago, we were doing this delete process, and we were like leaving it so that when you click, actually that's what it is right now. If I click on this right now, it will just delete it, and that's not good because it could be an accidental delete. Because what if I meant to delete here instead, right? But instead of fixing it, we ended up figuring out that we needed to do an update. Alright, so we spent the whole video doing an update of Angular. Good stuff though, but now we're gonna get to this. Alright, so where were we? Alright, so we're trying to figure out first how to upload or download the Ng-Bootstrap. So let's first see if that at least is in here. Alright, let's look. So if we look, we are going to not find it here. I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that it didn't. Nope, it didn't. So let's just do it then. All right. So let's open up some room. Let's close this. Not close it, but just scoot it out of the way, and let's get this back over here, copy and paste that, and then hopefully there is no extra updates. Alright, so it says that it's about to install some packages, so yes, yeah, and installing packages. Please, come on, I don't want this video to just end up being a bust again. Alright, good stuff. I see some stuff happening. I see a compile over here with a green thing, and I see this ended. Cool. Alright, so we're good. We are good. Compiling. Alright, it's doing some compilations. Alright, so we're good there. I'm pretty certain that it's gonna be fine. I can see it probably already here loading up somewhere right here. Ng-Bootstrap, so that's good. So now it is time to put our stuff together. Alright, so what are we gonna need? First of all, let's keep reading on this get started here, making sure that we have everything that we need. So get started now, get installation. So we did the installation. Okay, that's not necessary. And alternative imports, that's not, I don't know. Okay, I think that's it. Alright, so we're good then. Let's get back to our thing here, and now let's look at the app module for a second. So if we look at the app module here, I'm sorry if you hear some noises out there. There's a truck out there just being a nuisance. Alright, so if we look over here, we're gonna see that there is an ng module already uploaded to the app modules folder. That's something that, because we use ng add instead of npm install, the CLI already installed this module for us, so that's a good thing. So that's there. And now don't confuse this ngb module with this ng module. This ng module is this, which is the actual Angular modularization of your modules. The modularization of your modules in your modules for the ng module. Now this ngb module is actually for Ng-Bootstrap. Okay. All right. So we're good there. Just making sure, looking through all of my stuff here to make sure that my lessons are working the way it should. That you have all the stuff that you need. Alright, so it looks like everything there is going to be fine. So we're gonna go ahead and close that, and we are going to now, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a modal that is gonna pop off whenever you click on this icon here, right? So in order to do so, let's go ahead and make a component on our components folder. So if we go to our components folder right here, so we'll do that with the CLI, of course. So let's back over here again, and now we're gonna go ahead and say ng generate component, and and this is going to be in wait a minute, we gotta do skip tests. Skip tests equals true. Yep, that's correct. And then we're gonna put it in components. What are we gonna call it? Let's call it confirmation modal. Confirmation modal. Yeah, confirmation modal. That's about right. All right, and let's see if it runs. All right, cool. So it ran just fine. Let's see. Let's open our component, and then we can see our confirmation modal in there. So we're gonna do a little bit of cleanup as always. Get rid of the CSS, we don't need it, and get rid of the app, we don't need that. Hit save and manually delete the CSS file. All right, we're good to go there. So so now that we're there, we need to start then now creating the actual modules. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually bring the model, the actual module for the model. So if we go to components and we look for the model right here, and let's just open this one here and look at the basic. We're gonna see that there is an ng model in there. Okay, so I actually did a little bit different than what you're seeing here. Let me see if maybe this one is the one that actually, this one is closer to the one that I'm gonna use. So what you're going to do is you're gonna go to this component as content right here, and we're gonna bring in this right here and put it in there. Now I know for a fact that we're gonna need a couple of things, but one thing that we're not going to need is the onInit. Okay, the onInit is a lifecycle method for when you want a component to load as soon as the browser loads up, right? We don't want this to happen with the modal. You don't want the modals to load up when the browser loads up. You don't even want it to mount on the DOM, because they're going to be used on call, on a click event, for example. So there's no need for the onInit, and we're going to get rid of that. Therefore, we're going to get rid of these implements. Okay. Now, on the component itself, we are going to eventually need a couple of things. So I'm just going to go ahead and put them now so that you have them. But we're going to need the input decorator. We're going to need the output. You'll see later why, and the event embedder. All right, so we're gonna need those. We're gonna need this Bootstrap object in there. And what we're going to do is, if we go to the task item and we look at the task item here, we have these trash icon or whatever. So we're gonna bring that over, because we're gonna use it in here instead when we create the icon for it. So let's get rid of that there, because we're not going to need it all, and we're not going to need it here anymore. So get rid of that. We're going to cut that out, and we're going to bring it in here instead. And now we're going to put that inside our component, obviously. So right here, this is all good. Yep, inside our confirmation component. So we're gonna put that, let's just put it in here for now. All right, cool. Now this is the component that is going to render the actual your actual modal that is gonna fire it up. But we're gonna need one component above it that is going to construct it for us. So we're gonna have a different class. It's like a helper class, a helper component, so to speak. And what I'm going to do is actually copy the one that you're gonna see here, this component right here. Yeah, sure. Let's highlight all of that entire component, and we're just gonna put it here just to have something to start off with. And we're gonna get rid of this Ng-BD whatever. Just call it modal content. All right, so let's see what else can we do here. So that's fine. The H4. Okay, so now this right here, the height there, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to call it, we're gonna put a string interpolation to use a variable as a prop that we're going to be able to use later, so that we can change the variables at the level of when we use it. We can change it whatever we want it to be. And then we have the button over here, which is fine. Let's just open some space here. That's okay. We're not gonna need the area label. Let's just get rid of some of the garbage that we're not gonna need. And this is fine. This is just basically what it's gonna use on the button on the top, so you can close it, and that's okay. Get rid of some of this so we have less stuff on the screen that we need. Okay, that's good. Now for the modal body, we're going to need there. Let's get rid of this and get rid of this, and then name it content instead. So this is where we're gonna put the content inside the modal window. And then the footer, which I'm going to then use 2 buttons actually. So let's copy that and put it down here. So one button, I mean they both are buttons, is going to be primary. So take these outline dark, call it primary. That's basically for a class color, so it comes out blue. And then the click event for that is going to be, yeah, for closing we can just get rid of this message here. We don't need that. So basically what this is going to do is just going to be the one that you're going to use for closing your, like just escaping your process. Let's say you didn't mean to delete it and you clicked it by accident. This is going to come up, and this is how you're going to say, no, I don't want to delete it. So instead of close or no or some just fixed value for that word, we're gonna use a secondary button text property. We're gonna use that so we can manipulate that text and call it whatever we want. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna basically do the same thing here. But the class here is going to be BTA danger, so that it's red. This is the button that we're going to click for yes delete it. I meant to delete it, so yes delete it. And let's call it log for now. We don't want this to be let's just call it log for now. You can call it whatever, but I just want to call it log because we're going to eventually log something to it, so we can test it before we actually. And then this close here, we're going to then call it primary button text, because that's going to be our primary action text, and we can change it in any way we can, any way we want to. All right, so we're good with that. Now, because this component it's not going to live on its own, it needs a class to work. We're going to bring the export class for it so that it can be used. It can be used. We're gonna name modal component. We're gonna change just the name, and then this input here, we're not using that property anymore. We're using title though, and it's going to be, let's typecast it to string. So the title of the modal is going to be string, and let's just bring another one here for content that is going to typecast the string as well, and couple more actually, and that's going to be, let me copy it here, the primary button text and the secondary button text. There you go. So we have our input here so that our props can work. Now remember when I brought in the output and the event emitter, because this is going to generate a button basically that you're going to click, and that once you click the icon, the trash icon, and then when you click it, it's going to get that task. You wanted to grab the task object and send the action over to the parent so that they can delete it over there at the task components. Okay, so for that to happen, we need to create an output decorator and then emit an event. So we're going to just down here, I like to keep at least one line of separation between my input and my outputs, just because I am like that. Oops, no zero. Okay, output, and then we're gonna call this just a click event. Let's call it click event, just like that, and then that's going to equal a new event emitter, like that. Good to go. All right, so now we are at our public. Okay, so that's fine, but this right here, actually that's fine, right? Yeah, that's going to equal to this right here, so that's fine. So this is cool. And then the only one thing that we need to, before we close everything out, is we now need to bring in this function that we created into here. So the log function is now, for right now, we're just gonna console log hi. Alright, we're just gonna console log hi just so we can see what is going on. Alright, so now we're back onto the component down here, which we do need to do a little bit of work down here as well. So we have the icon that we bring it in, so that's good. And then yep, that's fine. And then what we're going to do here in the constructor is we're going to, if we follow what we're doing here, right, they're gonna bring in the modal in here in the constructor, so the modal service from the Ng-Modal. And then inside here there will be the function that you're going to use on your trigger, which is that icon again, right, on the trigger. And in this case, open seems like very reasonable. Okay, so we're just gonna grab that, remember, so we can get rid of it. And then we're gonna put that in there. And now in there, what basically, okay, so this right here is going to be the modal content, because what this is going to be doing is going to create a reference to this modal, and inside that reference modal is going to make a function call to the modal service to open the modal that we constructed above. So this is what the modal is called, therefore that's what the modal needs to be called in here. Whoa, let's just do this so we don't mess it up. There you go. Alright, so now here's where we actually get to use the properties that we created above, so we can readjust our modal to look like, or to be called whatever we want it to be called. So this one was title, right? We're gonna call that delete, because it's a delete modal. Let's just copy that and do 4 more. One is content, so I'm gonna put content there, and primary button text and secondary button text. Alright, so this one is going to say, are you sure that you want to delete this task? And for our primary, we're gonna say yes, I am sure, and for our secondary is going to be no. Alright, so that's good, we got that. And then the last thing we need to do is, now we need to actually create the emission of this event. But let's go ahead and just stop there for a second before we get any further, and let's get back to the task component over here, the task ID component, so we can do a little bit more work over there as well. So alright, so we did everything so far. Everything here is, yeah, everything there is fine. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're gonna actually make some changes in the task item component in here. So we're gonna get this guy out. We're gonna copy it first, actually. We're gonna go to the confirmation modal, and we're gonna open the HTML for it, and we're gonna paste it there, right? Now what we're going to do here is the click is going to now use the open, because we created this right here that is going to be used. Now this icon is no longer going to call the delete task, because you don't want it to delete the task. You want it to, its function is going to be to open the modal. You're going to do the deletion inside the modal, and that's how you're going to protect it. You're going to add that extra click on there. So open, just so you can open your modal window. The icon is going to be the icon. Okay, that's fine, because you do want it to be that icon, and you want it to be red. Alright, so that's basically all you're going to need. But now this icon lives inside of this confirmation modal component, which we are using confirmation modal to call it, right? as your selector. So now when we go to our task here, we can save this actually. We can go now to this guy here, and this is no longer being used anymore. So I'm gonna go down here and I'm going to create it as a component that I'm using now. Now from that confirmation, that is now going to be it's no longer obviously it's not gonna use the, yeah, we can delete all of this. Sorry, I'm kind of like talking to myself here. All right, so now what this is going to do is going to bring in the click event. Yes, the click event that we're emitting to it so that somebody can use it, right? So this is who's going to use it, but we don't have it created yet. So in order to create that click event, we have to just do a couple more things. First of all, since we create it and it should live inside here, we're going to do this click event right there, and it's going to be an emit. It's going to be an emit. So now that is ready to be used somewhere, right? However, well, not quite yet. It's ready to be triggered, but not ready to be used. And the reason why is because this right here, which is the open click, needs to be able to subscribe to that creation that we did up here and send it out. So we're gonna bring in our modal reference again, component instance one more time, and then now we're gonna call the click event that we called right there a click event, and we're going to subscribe to it. And inside the subscribe, we're going to put an event and arrow head, what do you call it, arrow function, and then the arrow function is going to call the click event, this click event again, so that it can be called. So this click event is going to emit one more time. All right, so let's see what we're doing here. It says the click event does not exist in confirmation modal component. All right, let's see why is that not. Click event, this click event. Let me save it first. Alright, let's open it up a little more here. Subscribe, click event. Am I even copying these things right? So click event. So click event, paste it there, and paste it there. Okay. Alright, so we'll leave it alone for now and see what happens with in a second here. Alright, so yeah, that should be, it should be emitted. There should be an emission there. Alright, so let's come over here then and then use it and see what happens. Maybe that's why it's not working, because it's it needs to be received by somebody. So right here we're going to put the click event, and we're gonna equal that to whatever we want to do, which in this case, if we go inside our task item component inside here, is going to be our onDelete. Is going to be our onDelete task right here. It's going to be this one. So we're going to bring in our onDelete task, and we're going to pass our task in there, and we're going to hit save. All right, so why we're switching, we're sending that in there, is because the onDelete task, which by the way, this would have been onDelete then. This would have been onDelete task, and then the onDelete. Okay, good. So now this onDelete task right here is going to be calling, it's going to be called by this onDelete task right here. This onDelete task emission is going to be called by this onDelete function, and it's passing the task object into it. So when you look at it over here, that's exactly what is happening. All right, so now that's correct. All right, let's hit save on that, and let's see if this is still throwing an error. It's still throwing an error, huh? Okay. All right, let's see what's going on the front end here. All right, so if we look at the console, there are some errors in there. Confirmation modal component. All right, let's see what's going on. So this is our confirmation modal. All right, give me 1 second here. Let's see first that we have everything that we need. So you have your component, your input, output, and event emitter. That's fine. Modal, the window, if you okay. So that's coming in, and then we have our template, and the template is calling the active modal, is calling the log. Okay, that's fine. And then the modal content is bringing in all these props and the output, and then outputting a new event emitter, and then is being called here by this click event. I don't think that's going to be the problem. I don't know if that's, I don't think that would be the problem. Let's see what's in here. Task model tasks. I don't think we need the tasks. That's something else. That's an old error. All right, so click event on delete confirmation modal, click event on delete task. Value of invalid is not callable. Did you mean to include new? Okay, that's odd. All right, this is still giving a problem down here, so we'll keep looking. So the component is called a confirmation, and then confirmation modal component is calling. So I see what it is. So this output event emitter also needs to be declared inside here. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. It doesn't recall that it even exists. So let's go ahead and save that, and that should now fix everything. All right, let's make sure that it finishes when it generates, and looks like there's another issue. Well, at least this is an issue. This is not an issue anymore. All right, so let's look at this task here. Task item component. All right, so the task item component is calling the click event, and it's calling the it's not supposed to call the onDelete task. It's supposed to call the onDelete. Okay, so this is better. So it's calling the onDelete. I get confused because the onDelete task and then the onDelete is onDelete with a task object in it. So the onDelete is the actual function that is being called by this click event that was just emitted to it. And if we look at it in here, you can see that this onDelete was called, and that onDelete is going to fire this emission right here to the parent, which is the task component, and then that's the one that is going to do the deletion. So now you can see there is no more errors. So now if we refresh this, I don't understand why it's looking all white like this, but there were supposed to be some classes, some CSS classes in there. I'll look at that later. All right, so there's some CSS in here. Let me see what's going on in the CSS. Oh, okay. So this happened when there was an Angular update. It basically, I mean, when we put the Ng-Bootstrap in it, it put the Bootstrap down there. So let's just go ahead and copy that, take it off and put it up here instead. Whoa, that's not right. Anyway, it just delete it from down there. Yep, just delete it from down there and save. That's what you really need to do. And give it a second to recompile. There you go. And now our classes are back. So now if we go ahead and delete this, we're gonna see a modal window that is gonna tell us if you're sure you want to delete this or not. If you say no, it won't delete it. But if you say yes, then it will delete it. But it's not going away. That's not a problem. That's not good. All right, so let's see what happens there. Oh, okay. So this active modal close right here is how you close the the modal window, right? So this is the active modal object. So what we're going to do is we don't need to console log this anymore. You're going to emit the event, and then after the event is emitted, then you want to go ahead and close it, and that will be this active modal close. Yep, that'll do it. And let's go ahead and wait for it to finish, and we're gonna do one more test, and then I think we will be done. All right, cool. So here's our supply shopping test. If I delete it, if I say no, it won't go away, but if I say yes, it goes away. And if we look at, it went away from the UI, but did it go away from the back end? Yes, it did. So we're good to go. All right, guys, so that's all I have for now, and we're going to move on the next lessons, but at least we got this out of the way. All right, see you in the next one.